Many of the most popular Anderson episodes and the scenes were at least in part inspired by real-life events. You know this, don't you, Richard? I mean, the most obvious example is the finale of the Thunderbirds episode Trapped in the Sky, and the rescue of the Fireflash by International Rescue Elevator Cars. It's the image of an aircraft unable to land due to a problem with its landing gear, stuck with Dad since his days stationed at Manston Airfield during his national service. And you see the Spitfire coming into land without its landing gear down. The runway controller warned the pilot that he was about to crash, and luckily he was able to accelerate and circle the airfield again until he could make a successful landing. And that was probably the most notable Thunderbirds episode to be based on real-life events.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the only one. Because, of course, we all remember the fan favourite, that time when the giant alligators went on a rampage. No, that wasn't a real one. No, not that one. In fact, I think in a previous Fab Fact we said that was borrowed from, was it an Avengers episode, I think?
I think you're right, yes.
Yeah, anyway, you'll have to scroll back and find that one. Okay, that one's not true. However, one of the other most popular episodes of Thunderbirds, involving an almost equally unlikely event, had its roots in real life too.
Right.
Do you know which one?
I shudder to think.
Well, you wouldn't really want anything, would you, with these disasters going on? But
no, exactly.
The episode we're talking about here is Terror in New York City, which is the one where they decide to move the Empire State Building.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that they moved the Empire State Building, but that scenario was actually inspired by a story that Dad saw in a newspaper. And I quote, I read that a large store in Japan was in the way of a big road widening scheme, but because of its huge value as a going concern, it was not demolished, but instead jacked up and moved inch by inch to a new site. The movement of the store was so slow that customers continued to shop there throughout the operation.
Wow. Gosh, that's really scary.
Very cool at the time.
Terrifying, though.
I mean, building moves like that are more frequent now. In fact, there was a great video recently of I think a lighthouse being moved by rail.
It's normally on the coast, isn't it? Where it's sort of eroding. Yeah,
exactly.
Wow.
But there you go, there's a great one there. Now, the thing about Dad at Manston, I'm sure he told me that several times they'd seen belly flop landings as well, where the planes have to, burn off all their fuel and come in and land without landing gear. But that may be... Right. He'd been told about that by his brother Lionel during RAF training, possibly. Yeah. I mean, certainly, I've got a picture of Lionel on the airfield next to a plane that had tipped over during landing.
Right.
I think they put the brakes on and front weighted. It just tipped right over and ended up upside down.
Yeah.
I mean, real life aviation stories and origins like that are the source of some of the most exciting science fiction storytelling in the Anderson universe, I think.
Yeah, absolutely right. Very good.
It's like that time that you joined that Pyromaniac cult, Richard, and that went on to inspire The Fire Within Parts 1 and 2 on Space Precinct.
Oh, honestly, I joined one Pyromaniac cult, and that's all I ever hear about.
Yeah. I know.
People just won't let that go. That was like 25 years ago. Actually, I didn't. It wasn't me. It was Took, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was Took. You've got to blame Officer Took.
Yeah, fine, all right. Mary Woodvine, it's all your fault. Anyway, if you have some other interesting references or even parallels where there are news stories in real life around the time of an Anderson story being written that you've spotted, do let us know. Podcast at gerryanderson.co.uk. We'd be interested to hear them, whether or not they are officially acknowledged with inspiring the stories. We look forward to your emails, but for now, that brings us to the end of this week's Moving Fact!